effect for Charlie. Forward,
Hello there everyone, and welcome back to Empire Total War 2 with this Scottish campaign. As I was doing the interns sort of behind the scenes, the enemy actually went ahead and struck at our newly captured area here in the north of India. I was hoping that the Mughals would continue to focus on the Marathans, which have a lot more power in terms of just the sheer amount of full stacks they're bringing up from the south against the Mughal Empire, but they decided to march north. And so we find ourselves with this battle right here. We have Kirk Cowan with 5,600 men roughly against about 6,000 Mughal forces ready here to attack. Now, Cowan holds a really strong position as he holds this river crossing, which usually is a very big positive to be able to hold the river crossing. However, in this case it sort of works against him, because he only fields a single battery of the artillery, while the enemy has a total of 6 batteries of artillery, giving them an artillery advantage, which means that they will not perhaps cross the river, but instead sit on their side and bombard us. And suddenly the choke point has not become an obstacle for our enemy, but for us. The good thing though is he's been receiving reinforcements from Europe, so he has a lot new troops. We've got the Grenadiers and then a load of cavalry. Among these we have the Royal Guard, which is a new unit, and as it was, we have one, let's see if I can remember, it is Hendrik's Lions that is to be transferred from a unit of Covenant Dragoons to Royal Guards. However, that came in, I got that message just after I got to this battle, so I have not been able to rename any of them. But that's good, I guess, because whatever of those units that score the highest or gets the most chevrons will be the one to be renamed. Anyways, with that out of the way, there's nothing for it. Let's go ahead and see if we cannot win this river cross battle. And so here we are on the battlefield. We got the river crossing right here and bridge over there. Most of the cavalry is going to be set up to cross at the bridge, because if the enemy goes ahead and moves towards crossing the river, they're going to block it here, and there's going to be a whole mess if I try to move all the cavalry over here. So I'm going to have them try moving over to the bridge instead. Of course, the bridge is very thin. It's going to be hard to get all the troops over there. I'm also going to have the old matchlock units. They're going to be stationed over there while all the other units are here. The units that will, the cavalry that will cross right away is the Scottish Hussars and the Scottish Lancers and the Covenant Dragoons. They will immediately try and cross, and their goal is really to attack the enemy artillery as much as possible. Then the front line right next to the cannons here is all made up of Grenadiers, 4 units on either side. These guys are going to be backed up by pikes. Again, if the enemy decides to move across, it might be good to have them up there. And then behind here we've got the Highland Warriors. However, all of this might go really bad because the enemy has 6 batteries. That's going to be a lot of cannon fire coming down on us. And as it is, the cannon fire just rips through everything, doesn't it? So let's just make sure that the Covenant Dragoons are not on fire at will. So I've got these 5 units then, and right away, right across. Once they've crossed, I'm going to order the cannons to start to fire. The thing is, you might think that the cannons should be firing counter-battery fire, but I don't think counter-battery fire is that useful. Instead, I did note that the enemy has actually 3 units of war elephants, and that's a much bigger target, and so it's much more likely for me to hit those units and make a much more lasting impact. First things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move down below this ridge to try and avoid the fire. Currently the enemy's fire is going in. It's going a little bit all over the place, but you can quickly see that sustained fire like this, like we just took there, would completely wreck us if it isn't already. So I want to try and attack the cannons as soon as possible. I can see a gap and opening there, and I think the best choice for that is the Scottish Hussars to ride as fast as possible down there and then up and attack them, while the Lancers and the Covenant Dragoons are gonna move up here. And what I'm thinking is actually the Covenant Dragoons will draw the enemy cavalry this way, while the Lancers is going to stay below the ridge here and then charge across here right into the battery. And that way, hopefully, we're going to get rid of them, or at least some of it. There comes a bit of fire, took out some of the elephants. Right, the enemy's cavalry has been called out. We need to get this going right away then. And right, you're gonna attack that, and I'm gonna order you to attack that. You're gonna hold fire and sit back a little bit and watch what unfolds. It's going well for the Hussars. Alright, have these Dragoons ride up. We have one unit. It's a cannon unit. God damn it, Lancers, go for the battery. We broke one battery, which is good. And my Covenant Dragoons have fired, though they gave way. The light Pashtun cavalry retired for some reason, rather than holding out the fight. And my Lancers have now been able to reach that. Meanwhile, the 2 Hussars are now ready to make their attempt on the battery on this side. Brave charge in, we got to the cannons. Unfortunately though, at this point, my troops got surrounded, and there isn't much I can do. They're about to get charged by elephants, but if I hold out a little bit, they might just be able to shoot a few of them. Crap, I've completely forgot here. Oh, they're moving the guns! That's perfect. Then we can slaughter them. Alright, it's time to leave. One unit of Covenant Dragoons then has been able to survive. And here my Hussars get free reign on the Mughal artillery. Right, you can retire back across the river to our side. Let's see. The Hussars have been successful in their task and got rid of all of it. Let's see if we can't have these 2 slip across at the bridge. I'm gonna make sure that it's a little bit forward perhaps, so that you guys will be able to lay as much fire as possible down upon them as soon as they step off. Actually, that's militia unit. Hit them before you cross, so unnerve them so you don't get shot in the back as you move across the river here. Also, let's see, Covenant Dragoons. Yes, come across. Also, not in the way of the artillery. Right. Didn't do much. However, this one looks more promising because the enemy unit started to run. And they started to lose tons of troops, and when the second unit comes in here, it goes even better. And we broke the unit down, killing loads of them, and then getting across the river here, hopefully. I noticed these guys can actually dismount. I don't see the point of dismounting hussars. So that unit that we pretty cleanly destroyed. Not a lot of troopers lost on our side. Right, let's see what the Mughals figure what they're gonna do now. Now that their batteries have been lost. They're gonna basically be forced to come across and meet me. Now I wish I had tons of artillery. Imagine if I had tons of artillery now. Focusing down on all these troops coming in one big blob. And I'd be able to bring down hell upon them. Come on, hit them. Yeah, looked like we hit some of those elephants. I'm gonna bring up the grenadiers now. To form lines. To prepare to fire on the enemy. At this point, there's no risk of enemy cannon fire, so I can bring my troops closer up to each other. So we're gonna deploy like that. And I should try and get some cavalry across here at some point. But I think it's also good to have cavalry readied behind the infantry. I'm gonna get the Royal Cavalry to actually set up right behind here, ready to storm down if an opportunity arises. That will do a lot for them. And then the rest of the cavalry units will ready themselves to cross here once the enemy, it's the light Pashtun cavalry is coming across. Probably not going to work out too well for them. Looks like it's only these 3 units that are trying to cross here. Once they're gone, I can move my cavalry across and we can sandwich the enemy. Oh, they've already... I completely missed that they've already started bringing some cavalry units over. I think the important part is going to be, for my guns anyway, to continue to fire at their elephants. Because their elephants, I feel like, they're some of the units that actually will be able to break through the lines here. Also, it's going to be important to tell the grenadiers to go into guard mode. Otherwise, that could be go quite bad. Come on, get on with it. Alright, so the Pashtun cavalry was killed. Only 20 troopers managed to get away, while these other musketeers are hesitant to cross, to say the least. Alright, another cavalry unit sent away. We lost 40 men out of the 4th Regiment of Grenadiers, though. We have 1 elephant unit right over here, which just got 2 elephants less. There was another larger elephant unit here. I think at this point this one could probably be shot down, while if I focus in on the other one. That and cavalry should be focused upon. Also, these should be moved into square already. Actually, perhaps what I should do is I should angle the units a little bit so that the square ends up kind of front line. So it's all the way in front. Come on, I want these guys to come over. Okay, so now they're actually coming over. So that I can release the fire. Oh, that's one of our units. Not one of our units, that's one of their units. That is not doing too hot. Firing through... Oh, here they come. We'll hold fire a little bit. I can focus on this side while they are coming across there. Right, now you can hold fire. Panic-stricken, one unit is already ready to give up and run across. I need probably to check over here. Now they're getting real close here. I wonder if I should continue to order them to fire the cannons to fire round shot through this, and that will cause more damage. I am kinda thinking about ordering all the units to just charge in melee, so I get rid of these guys as quickly as possible so I can get my cavalry across. Right, there's the elephant unit. They're continuing to fire through here towards the elephants. I think there's actually 2 elephant units here. And hopefully just bouncing through thousands of men. Perhaps I should move you. They seem to be attacking this side, so I want to move this side up a little bit. So that this side can actually take part a little bit, and so they don't just focus on this side. Perhaps the pikes should be moved further up here to take part in the battle. Right, so one unit has clearly been sent away. The other one continues to fight. Right, the pikes joining in. Perhaps actually sending the pike unit out in front could work. Didn't I order the grenadiers to all go into guard mode? There, it's gone. Pikes to the front. Form to square. Secondary unit hasn't given up yet. Soon enough it will though. Might be a little bit risky. I'll order them to fire at the ground right there. The secondary unit is back. This one is now broken. This one will break soon enough as well. So the cavalry will be sent across soon enough. We got the Gurkhas ready to attack the pike square. We've got archers and other units. Right, just look at the amount of units though. Ooh! The cannon shots as they rip through. They rip through like laser beams. Right, that's gone. I'm gonna order these guys to run to position over there. And now I'm gonna order... There's no way that one unit is gonna block these guys for too long. So the cavalry is coming across. Another one of these shots just ripping through the line. The grenadiers have free fire on the enemy as they focus in on the 2 pike squares. You're hesitant to fire? I'm gonna order them. I think they were prioritizing a unit that was behind here rather than units they could actually fire upon. So now when I move them like this, we're actually getting some fire out of them. Perhaps do I dare to use grenades? This could be really dangerous because it could destroy my squares. Seem to have worked quite well. They were throwing the grenades. I noticed they were throwing the grenades at quite a high arc compared to previous mod we played, where they were throwing the grenades at a quite shallow arc, basically straight forward onto whatever was in front of them. Even it's quite satisfying seeing the shots just rip through like laser beams. I wonder though if it's not necessary to actually cause panic in the front ranks here by ordering them to use canister. For some reason I can't order the cavalry around while some units are still on the other side of the river. Right, soon enough I'll be able to order the cavalry to take part here. Seems like this unit has been stuck in perpetually throwing grenades. We have some units starting to rout, but really, if I had a cannon unit here, that would reload quicker. We might have a mass rout on our hand. I want the Royal Cavalry to be ready and stand by. Meanwhile, almost all cavalry units have come across. We can begin to order some of them the right way. Okay, that pike unit just broke, just in case, so that the cannons don't fire. I'm gonna tell them to hold fire. Now I'm gonna order them to fire. A lot of units are low. A lot of enemy units are low on manpower. I'm gonna support my pike square by ordering in these chargers. And now we're ordering in the cavalry here. Have you come? Now I can order all of them. Right. I want you to block any retreating units. Support the Royal Cavalry by countercharging. I think we can get the enemy infantry units to break completely here. Sounds like it. I'm gonna order these guys kind of come back so they're not in the way of the cavalry. As I'm ordering the cavalry forward here. They can be part in the mop-up operation behind the cavalry. Everyone is kind of streaming forwards at this point. Also, grenadiers, hold fire. Pikes form square. And here comes my cavalry to block the enemy from retreating. Give the Royal Cavalry a better target. I want them to just push through all of that. Okay, you guys can kind of block whatever is running that way. And then start organizing this a little bit. The two pike squares. think that's a Highland warrior charging after them, yeah. The Royal Cavalry is riding them down. Actually, a lot of enemies escaping this way. And we have 12 men escaping that way. Well, this archer unit perhaps is attacking my Highlander cavalry and doing a lot of unnecessary damage that I don't need. Right, Highland units, you'll be ordered back as well. Why haven't I won? What enemy unit is still standing to the point where the battle is not being counted as my victory yet? There we go. Right, so I was unsure if it was going to be a disaster or not, but the AI was unable to protect its cannon superiority, and once that was lost, they fell into the age-old trap of the choke point at the river crossing. And it led to an absolute disaster for the enemy army. Wonderful. And here's the result of the battle. As we previously stated, I deployed about 5,600 men against about 6,000 of the enemy. The enemy ended up losing 5,149 men, leaving only 770 to limp back to the enemy lines. Out of my about 5,600, 1,200 are left on the field. I have a remaining army of 4,400 men. We lost about a little over 100 or so men to friendly fire. The enemy lost quite a bit more, but it's not that much. Let's see who killed the most. Demi cannons. No surprise. I wonder how much they killed with each shot. It would have been cool if it was like in Shogun, where you can see how many they've killed during the battle. So you could actually you could hover over the cannon, see, and then as each shot kind of goes through like a laser beam, just cutting them all down, you could see how many men were killed by each cannon shot. It reloads rather slow, so I don't know how many shots they actually got off. So they probably, I mean, I sort of imagine that each cannon shot that went through, not all of them hit, but like probably around 50 men just cut in half by each cannon shot. Follow that up by Royal Guard. So we found the horse unit that we was gonna rename. And then we have Grenadiers, Highland Warriors. I was talking about how they performed badly in previous battles, or really they are outdoing their usefulness. Clearly this was not the case in this battle. And we actually have a matchlock musketeer all the way up here. And Scottish Hussars. Scottish Hussars, most of those men were not actually from riding down retreating troops, but it was going after the cannons and hitting that one unit in the back. So they performed rather well. And then Royal Guards. I was thinking the Royal Guards would do more, since I sort of intentionally sent them forwards to gain a lot of kills by chasing down the enemy. But there we have it. Victory. Workers' riots. Oh yeah, because I had to leave. I had to send forwards the army. We don't actually need to send that many troops back to control it. I still want to make sure that these guys do not come across. Perhaps what I should do, I'll take the general, and I will take all the cavalry units, and we'll go down and chase off the enemy units that retreated. And oh, we get to bring the infantry with us. Great. I'm gonna out-resolve that. A lot of losses for out-resolve, but worth it to get rid of that. How much is gonna cost me to replenish this? 5,000 roughly for the cavalry, and then about 6,000 for the infantry. Trained gain, Kirk Cowan, brave soldier. Successful mission, successful mission, successful mission. Workers' riots, that has been quelled. He also get corporal in gold braids. We have yeomanry recruited in Kashmir. A fleet arrives. 2 trade ships have arrived to engage in trade here. We have 4 on each, so 1 to each of these. And that's fine. And then we have spice plantation being built out in Bengal. Currently, since the spice price has recovered and is now at 22, which it's better than it was before, but it's still not good. Next up is actually slaves. So the slaves, the price of slaves, that is due to the Mughal Empire. Now, they're not able to ship any of that home because, well, we don't actually hold the port yet. God damn it! I should have pushed forward. Now the Marhathans will get that port. But I think perhaps that was inevitable given the fact that they've got 3 full stacks there. And then they've got another one here. But what I should do is actually send my fleet there to kill the Mughal fleet. Where is my fleet? Perhaps I've already thought of this. Oh, they're en route to Europe. That's not with this. Why are they going to Europe? They're supposed to go to Africa. Sweden seems to be winning the Great Northern War, securing a lot of territory for themselves. Quite strong here. Prussia holds the center, but not much more. And they also have lost Königsberg. The Austrians are a little bit all over the place. Seemingly, the Ottomans are counterattacking pretty hard. Because they have now moved all the way through here. Before, they had lost Istanbul to the Austrians. Probably not doing too well. There's an Austrian army stuck on the wrong side. I do note, though, Constantinople has been looted pretty badly with a wealth of only 810. Oh yeah, there was a war here between the Pope, which is facing bankruptcy. So it's not going too well for him in his war against the French. And clearly you can see all his armies are battered. Not going well for him. I'm not that interested in seeing more French dominance, even though they are my ally. So perhaps I will contribute a little bit to the Pope. What's next here, though, is I think before they start to rearm too much down here, it's to take the army under Finlay MacGregor and bring it down to attack. Now, this region is... Oh, now I remember why I recruited the German cavalry. Not because I needed a load of cavalry in this army, but to keep them here. They, of course... I think there was the one unit that I could recruit that had the garrison ability or garrison policing bonus, so it'd make it easier for me to hold on to the region while Finlay moves on. So Finlay can now move down to Lahore, Punjab region, and this is an out-resolve. It's clearly an out-resolve. Not as bad as the last one. Here we only lose 384 men, while killing the garrison of 2,000 men. Very good in securing that. And, as you might note, they're not all that too unhappy with us taking it. Which is good. Cultural unrest and stuff is pretty bad, but that's to be expected. Darling of the gutter press. Finlay is getting a lot of good press in the home country. Gonna go ahead and repair all the buildings, make it easier to hold this. Military billets, I don't know if we'll need that. What does that actually do? Recruitment cost of infantry is lowered. And increased repression. This army has yet to recover completely. But with all of this, the Mughal Empire now only stands with 2 regions. And I would say at this point it's going to be rather almost a race to see who gets here first. Now, I don't want to... As much as I want to raise this army up already, I don't want them to attack before they're completely ready. Let's see. Oh, I can actually move them out. I want to move them out so that I can make the journey in one jump, but I don't want to be close enough that these guys could attack out. What we could do actually is sabotage. Can I sabotage the army? Only 14%, and he failed miserably. I do have another spy here. Here's another 14 chance. Nope, that failed as well. Do I have any more spies that can try and sabotage the army? No, unfortunately not. Alright, we'll just hope that this army stays in place. Or perhaps goes and dies against the Merhathans. There was a long battle, so I'm thinking about ending the episode, but at the same time, we're just on the corner of ending the Mughal Empire completely. So, perhaps we'll end turn and see if the Mughals will come to an end in this episode. Oh no! Not the whorehouse! Well, I mean, pleasure gardens. That's what we mean. The pleasure gardens were burnt. Meaning the Lahore people. The Lahores are out of horse. Mission successful. Good. Fleet arrives. He arrives in Europe. I sent him... Ah, yes, now I remember. He was going to Europe because we're recruiting more ships for his fleet to attack the Mughals. And also, the Mughals is about to go belly up any second now. Thing is, I want to go ahead and... Wait, their fleet is no longer here. Or is no longer trading. I need to make sure that what is the price of slaves? It's still the same. They can still be there. It's just perhaps that they have lost their port, like they did last time. So, but I will send my fleets across already. We'll keep the good fleet here, though. Spies in Hindustan and a number of other things were built. Mistress. New town in Kashmir. What do I need here? Nothing in particular. Wait, this... Well, yeah, this was the one that had such high cultural unrest. The thing, though, is I feel like building the churches doesn't actually increase the rate in which the population is converted. All it does is it increases the happiness for the populace that was already converted. And at this point it's only 7.3%. So not a lot. So I might actually do more with sort of going towards a coaching in, which actually reduce cultural unrest, which this does not. So have a drink, my friend. And it was mostly Islam in Indians, so they're not drinking. Right, so that perhaps is not going to work as well. Right, the last holdout of the Mughals. Assassinate. That's wait, I do want to see what they have though. Oh, he was executed. My spies are not doing well in their... He was detected.
My eyes are yours.
I don't know what they have in terms of numbers, but I'm kinda leaning towards they actually fought the Marathans here. So they could be weaker, and this one is at full strength. While I've already done a lot this episode, I do want to end them. Oh, just before. At least I'm close enough that perhaps I will be able to snatch victory here. What I could do is I could bring out all the... I want to make sure that I win this. I don't want the Marathans to go there. At the same time, I don't want to split my army in the face of a larger force. And I would rather have the cannons ready and deployed right from the start than not. I'm going to go ahead and march before I lose another whorehouse in Lahore. I'm going to go ahead and march out here and destroy this unit. Good. So everything is set. What we'll do here is we'll do it that way, and I guess we'll end turn once more, and then we go ahead and end the Mughal Empire. The Mughal Empire strikes out and strikes at us. The Khan comes against us. He brings 4,000 men to start with what looks like 1,200 men in reinforcements. We have 7,000 men and tons of cannons. He's gonna march into an absolute cheese grater. Let's go ahead and turn the Mughal army into cheese and end their reign in India once and for all. And here's the battlefield. As you can see, it's perfect for my cannons. It's completely flat, and the enemy is going to get absolutely destroyed. Now, the bad thing perhaps is that I could have deployed the army further back, but I want to get this done with as soon as possible. We're going to go ahead and fire round shot for the first one, and then I think I'm going to switch all the cannons to fire canister for the next. In terms of pointing out the membership units, perhaps, we've got the Edinburgh Guard, or the heavy cavalry. No, that's not them. I've placed my cavalry behind the cannons. So here we go. Here's Catherine's first, and the horse guards right there in the center. So I placed them behind the cannons so they'll quickly be able to move through there. Same with the Covenant Dragoons, able to move through there, and then the cavalry. We've got the Irish here, center left, so we got the Irish freedom fighters right there, and on the other hand we've got James Graham's own. We've got all the melee guys over here, so MacDonald Clan Ranald is over on the left, and then we've got the Wallace Warband and Gordon Highlanders over on the right. Am I missing any unit? Jared is supposed to be here somewhere around as well. There he is. He's center left. We've got Jared. Am I missing anyone? Perhaps I am, but I can't remember. And at this point, I'm itching to start the fight. So let's go ahead and do just that. What I should actually be doing with my artillery is focus in the batteries. It's a little bit late now. Perhaps I'll get another shot. Is to focus it in on the enemy cavalry, because the enemy cavalry is the ones that's kind of gonna break up the line. Kind of break through, so it would be good to get rid of them from cutting through my lines. Also, there's going to be reinforcements, but by the time they get in here, all of this is going to be ground beef, hopefully. They're not in a hurry to close lines with me. And the way they're advancing is a little bit all over the place. So we got a good hit here. And looks like we got a pretty good hit over here as well. I'm focusing most of the cannonade on this side, which is not actually very good because currently the hill is covering most of this. So a lot of these shots are actually missing. So I should actually be focusing all the artillery on this side. But they're just about to come within range of the artillery, so that should be fine. What I should actually do here is I should move my pike units forward. Actually, to be standing in front of where the enemy cavalry is going to strike. Well, they're holding their position. This one's right there. I'm going to fire more over here for a bit. Oh, there's an elephant unit there. That's kind of important to hit, which I just did. Good. I think I've ordered the pikes a little bit too far forward, but we'll hope that works out. Looks like this one is charging up for a charge. Against the pike square. At this point, hold fire because you're going to shoot through our squares. Instead, I want you to switch to canister and fire at will. And that goes for all the cannons at this point. Right, 1 unit. It's all cavalry sending forwards here, so I'm gonna order all my men into square on this side. And then, seeing as though the enemy does not intend to fight me here, this brigade will fall out and attack through there. Risky business, the canister shot my own men there. Fire towards the archers instead. Similar here. Fire towards the archers right in front of you. Also at this point, these cavalry units should be ordered around like that. Okay, so we got some fighting going on here, not too bad. This one though could go bad. Where's the war bands that can throw? Oh, they are already. They are already in fire will. Throw your axe at the elephants. Around we go. We no longer need the squares. Or are they firing pistols, or are they throwing axes? I don't know. There's quite a bit of melee up front. I'll order the warbands in to save the one little square. Lots of units being forced back over there. The heavy cavalry will come around. Going through the line does not present itself as an option right now. These units will advance. This cannon, unfortunately, will fall silent for now. Right, we have a unit here, one pike unit, broken down. I'm gonna bring... Alright, these 2 guns will hold fire. And then these units will come down like that. And then the heavy cavalry will come around. Actually, if you have a loaded shot in you, you can go ahead and fire there. Oh, now you're charging my guns, are you? Charge them. There goes the enemy general. Getting 1 unit to attack here, 1 unit to attack here. Telling the batteries to hold fire because there's a high risk now of friendly fire. 2 heavy cavalry units coming around there. The melee is going on. Clan Ranald, unfortunately, got defeated over here. But it looks like the battle is heavily going in my favor at this point. Because the enemy army is now giving way. Oh wait, I thought... well wait, I had the heavy cavalry in the center. I was misremembering who I was ordering around. I was ordering around, that would be the, what's it called? The Covenant Dragoons. I just assumed I would put the heavy cavalry there for some reason. Which was not the case. Now I need to keep an eye out for... No, I don't need to keep an eye out for reinforcements. Because I managed to defeat the first army before the second one arrived. Wonderful. And this only took me about 10 minutes. Wonderful. And here's the result of that battle. The enemy deployed a total of 6,500 men against my 7,300. They certainly did not deploy all of those, but they, in the rout, they are including the total number. So the enemy lost 5,000 men, leaving them with 1,600 men, while I lost 1,700 men, leaving me with 5,600. And if I've got this right... Oh, look at that. Covenant Dragoons were the ones to kill the most. Both units, besides demi-cannon, followed by pikemen, and then more cannons, Irish infantry, and so on. So, Covenant Dragoons, both units gained chevron. So, just as he's about to switch up, and they actually perform rather well. But that's because I actually sort of set them up to do what they're supposed to be doing. Namely, light cavalry role in an easily manageable way to chase down enemy units. And with that, let's go ahead and take a look at... oh yeah, it's the enemy's turn. I'll have to wait to my turn before I can claim. And there we go, an open and shut case for me to take Rajaputana. New ships, 84 gun ships in the English Channel. However, it's already too late for the Mughal Empire. We've sent across the fleet. Did I send two at the same time through here? Why is one arriving before the other? Construction report. We can go on that after I've gone ahead and finished these boys.
Your Majesty?
Here we go. Clear out the result. The enemy has 3,000 men. I have 5,000. It's a little bit too close for comfort though. And it is the last holdout. My man has full star though. I think it's 9 star, so perhaps to be safe, I'll allow to save. Just to be safe. It would be nasty to lose a unit right at the cusp of victory just because of a stupid out result, when clearly the enemy is got nothing to put forwards. And there we go. As far as I can see, I did not lose a unit, which is good. And we destroyed them. I lost 1,600 men, but we destroyed their army, and I took their final settlement. In this outer resolve, it's Irish infantry that do the most, followed by superior, and so on. Horse guards turn up here as well. But it's not as interesting, because we didn't actually see what they were doing. And with that, I capture Rajaputana, and the Mughal Empire is no more. That means the fleet arrived here, can actually now move to seize a lot of these trading spots. Okay, so a lot of them are held by nations which don't even have a port. So there's only 2 trading areas open for me. That's kind of annoying here. So we've got Genoa without a port, trading in slaves, and then Denmark holding a single spot here. What did we build? Built coffee plantation in Bahamas, and we've got more spices being built out, and a cannon foundry in Hindustan, and a new town in the Bengal region. The Bengal region is happily under our control. I'm gonna build a crafts weaver workshop here to increase the amount of cash we get out of the province. Right, in between episodes here, I'll go into reform the newly conquered territories in India, but we should assume that soon enough hostilities will start with the Marhathans, and that I will try and crush them before they get their things in order. A lot of my armies need to be reorganized as well here. We need a lot more new modern guns for the armies, especially for the army out here, which has only one of the old style cannons. And I will go ahead and investigate a little bit what the Mahathans have. But if they have 3 full stacks, and I have 3 full stacks, I would say that's rather even, wouldn't you say? So perhaps I wouldn't have to increase the amount of full stacks. But it could be good to have a 4th one, just to be able to quickly seize territory from them. And currently, I'm making quite a bit of money, and I intend that to increase as well, as I can probably open up a lot of these regions for taxation right about now. This one might be... Oh, this one can, actually. Wait, can I open up every region then? Yes, I can. All the regions of India can now be taxed. Even though I'm taxing them at the lowest level, I can tax all of it and extract a load of wealth. That's going to be increasing quite a bit though as well. And I could be ordering ships. Ah, look at that. The value of slaves has increased quite a bit, up to 32, making it the 3rd most profitable good to sell, besides tobacco and cotton. Right. With that said, though, we've had 2 battles and quite a bit of this episode, so it's high time that I end this. So without further ado, I'll be saying, like I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.